Hello, so this is a very different style to the old YouTube videos that I was doing. I've taken 2 weeks off to try and kind of work this out because you'll know I missed last week's YouTube video. I've kind of been off the ball with them for a couple of weeks. It's because they've not felt right. The way they've been doing YouTube videos, they've not felt right. I'll be perfectly honest, they haven't felt right. They've not really been me. The way that I usually do presentations is through slides like this, the things that you can see in front of you, and the way I usually talk to people is with slides and with funny GIFs and stuff like that. So from now on, my YouTube videos are going to be like this. So you'll see that this is a new style of video. This is a new way of me doing my videos. And I've actually called them the lecture series. I've nicked this straight from Ricky Gervais. He used to say, yes, this is a lecture, and this is a lecture. So this week, I am talking about how to learn almost anything in 24 hours. It's a big bold statement, but there's a really simple way to do this, and it is hack days. And no, it's not hack days like this, it's hack days. And actually, by the way, this is Mr. Robot. If you've never seen Mr. Robot, it is a TV show on Netflix that you really need to go watch if you've never seen it. A side note. Oh, and actually another side note as well is you'll see now that because I'm recording this out my webcam, you can see the entire room. I've got these on my spare bed. Remember Rock Band? I haven't played Rock Band in about 3 years and they're still on my spare bed. Don't know why. Anyway, so yes, it's not hack days like this one. It's not hackers. It is a hack day. If you're not familiar with the term hack day, basically a hack day is where a bunch of people get together in a room, usually for about 24 hours, sometimes maybe a bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. People get together in a room for 24 hours, 48 hours, 12 hours, whatever the time period is, doesn't matter. People get together in a room and they work together to create something. The last hack day that I went to was called Hack the DMC, and I also co-organised it. And this thing here, the selfie button, is what I made with Matt Watson. He was my teammate. And it worked a little bit something like this. You can see that it was basically a webcam connected to a Raspberry Pi, and then you press the button, which I'm going to do in a minute. There we go. I'm pressing the button now. This bit on the screen said pressed. That sent it off to Twitter. And then there's a Twitter profile called twitter.com/the selfie button. So we made a selfie button. Completely stupid idea, but it was a lot of fun because the way that this all ties together with this is that Matt and I had never used Raspberry Pis. Never used Raspberry Pis. We'd never done any hardware stuff. We didn't know how any of it worked. And at the end of the 24 hours, we'd made this. A pizza box, well, some cool gubbins inside a pizza box, but we'd made a finished product. So this is what we're going to cover in today's lecture. The hack day story, the way it came about, the way we did it, and then the secret to learning something in 24 hours. I'm going to rush through the hack day story, but I think it's important I give you a bit of context here. So, the hack day story. About 3 weeks ago, it was midday in sunny Barnsley. And by the way, this is a picture of Barnsley. It's a little bit old now because we don't have any telephone boxes there anymore. And yeah, but that is the town hall in Barnsley. So this is sunny Barnsley. This was 3 weeks ago. Bear in mind, the hack day has already happened now as I'm talking about this. So it was 3 weeks ago in the middle of Barnsley, and we were in an office building. Unfortunately, this guy wasn't at the meeting, but I wish he was. There was about 8 of us sat in this meeting in an office in the Barnsley DMC, and we was plotting something pretty devilish. In fact, we was plotting a hack day. Someone had suggested that we run a hack day in collaboration with Startup Europe Week. At this point, I'd never really heard of Startup Europe Week. Well, I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. And obviously, I said yes. I always say yes to these kind of things. It was why I was in the meeting. I wanted to be involved. But there was a catch. 10 days was the catch. We had 10 days to organise the hack day. And I was like, that gives us no time to market it. That gives us no time to plan it. That gives us no time to get anybody to turn up. But I went, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we had 10 days. Let's do it. Let's get started. The only thing we did have was the date. The date it had to be on the 9th of March to the 10th of March. So we had the date when it was going to be. So we knew what we needed to do. Fast forward. Let's fast forward now. We'll fast forward to 10 days after that meeting. And this is the beginning of the hack day. This is the day of the hack day. This is the 9th of March. We'd done all the marketing we could. We'd tried to get as many people down as we could. We'd all done our best effort. We had some people signed up, and it was 4 p.m. This was the time when it was meant to start. It was 4 p.m. We opened the doors, and a tumbleweed blew in. There was nobody there. Nobody had arrived yet. And yeah, 5-10 minutes pass, 15 minutes pass. And at this point, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I'm thinking, maybe we didn't have enough time. Maybe we didn't have enough time to organise people to sit in a room for 24 hours. But then it ended up going okay, and this is me introducing my selfie button idea, and it all went well in the end. There's there's loads of photos on Twitter, in fact. If you go over to Hack the DMC on Twitter, there's loads of photos. These are just a selection of them. This was Luca making his thing. This was me introducing Hack the DMC. This was some people drawing some stuff on a piece of paper. But yeah, it went well in the end. I just wanted to get that across, that it went well, and it was a lot of fun. But the big thing about this is the secret to learning something in 24 hours. How do you learn something in 24 hours? I honestly think you can learn anything, pretty much anything. Maybe not heart surgery, maybe not rocket science, but you can learn pretty much any reasonable skill to a basic level in 24 hours. And that's what's so cool about hack days and why everybody should go to them if they can. Matt and I, as I said, we turned up, we knew what a Raspberry Pi was. We knew what this thing was. This was a Raspberry Pi. We never played with one. We didn't know how they really worked. We didn't know what to do with it next. We didn't know anything really much more about it other than this was a Raspberry Pi. And we ended up turning it into a box. We put it inside a pizza box, and we actually made something that worked. And to Matt and I, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing, because we'd never done any of this stuff before. We didn't know how it worked. And we were programmers to some extent. Matt's more of a programmer than me. We both knew programming languages, but we'd never messed with hardware. And in 24 hours, we'd gone from knowing nothing to actually making something. And that's just really cool. So how do you actually manage to do that? Well, I think you've got to set yourself a challenge. You've got to set yourself a challenge, give yourself at least 24 hours, and then stay awake. Stay awake for 24 hours. And just work on the challenge. It works really well when you're trying to learn something very low level. Even works well like what we did. We learned Raspberry Pi stuff, and it was really cool, because the 24 hours thing I think is really important in this, because it gives you just enough time to be able to do something, but not enough time to procrastinate. And I think that's why hack days are the perfect catalyst for quick learning. Quick learning like this, because you've got to learn quickly. You're like this all night long, tapping away furiously on a keyboard, because the deadline is always looming on you. It's always looming on you. And if you've never been to a hack day, you really need to give them a try, because they are so much fun, and you'd be amazed by how much you learn. And I think there's a bigger point to this too, and this is what hack days really get. And obviously this is Parkinson's law. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. You can make use of this in every day of your life, not just at hack days, but this is what hack days really bring to a point, I think, that because you're in such a close environment, and it's so difficult to do anything but just focus on the task, because you know the deadline is coming. It really focuses you down, and the learning task, just expands to fill the time available. And because you've got barely any time, you get it done. And it's really magical. That's pretty much all I've got to say on this, other than make use of this law. Please, seriously. Hack days are so cool. You should find one locally, go to one next, and go give them a try. They're really good fun. All that's left for me to say is there'll be another lecture next week. Maybe not next Friday, because I'm in Brussels, so I'm probably not going to get the time to make all the slides and do another lecture like this lecture. Yes, it is a lecture. I probably won't get the time to do it for next Friday, but it'll be coming next week at some point, probably Saturday, probably Sunday. If you've got any ideas on topics or things you want me to talk about, send me them, tweet me them, or email me them, Craig at getdoingthings.com, or tweet me at twitter.com/Craig Burgess. Till then, see you next week.